All right, folks, gather round. Today, we're diving into some of the most infamous rulers in history. Kings so hated their legacies are basically a masterclass in how not to rule a kingdom. Today, we're looking at kings, those royals who thought they could do whatever they wanted, and guess what? The people hated them for it. These guys didn't just miss the mark, they obliterated it. I'm talking about history's most hated kings. Now, we've all heard about the evil ones: Hitler, Stalin, and the guy who invented pineapple pizza. Let's get started. First up, let's talk about King John of England, aka the guy who made Robin Hood a thing, for all the wrong reasons. King John ruled from 1199 to 1216, and if there was an award for Most Unliked King, John would have had his picture on the trophy. This guy was so unpopular that there's an entire legend about him. And no, it's not because he was particularly good at archery or stealing from the rich to give to the poor. Oh no, it's because he was a ruthless, backstabbing, overtaxing tyrant. He lost the crown jewels, invaded France with little success, and was just a general disaster. And to make matters worse, he forced the signing of the Magna Carta, but only because his nobles were literally like, either you sign this or we're going to rebel and replace you. Talk about a trust issue, huh? He wasn't even liked by his own people, let alone the rest of Europe. Next up, we have the Emperor of Rome, who was, well, a little extra. Caligula. If you thought your boss was bad, you clearly never had a boss who appointed his horse as a senator. I kid you not, he did that. His horse, Incitatus, was not just a pet. This horse had its own palace and was offered a priesthood. Caligula ruled from 37 to 41 AD, and let me tell you, this guy was the definition of a madman. He made bad decisions like throwing people into gladiatorial combat for fun, executing senators for no reason, and holding massive orgies in his palace. I mean, the dude was basically a walking, talking nightmare with a crown on top. But here's the kicker. Caligula didn't just terrorize his own people, he terrorized the gods too. He once declared himself a living god and demanded to be worshipped as one. As you can imagine, the Romans weren't exactly on board with that. In fact, they were so fed up that they assassinated him, which I think was the first official reality check in Roman history. At number 3, we've got a king who wasn't so much evil in the silly haircut and bad temper sense. No, this guy was cold, calculating, and really, really good at being a villain. King Leopold II of Belgium. Leopold ruled Belgium from 1865 to 1909, but he was more famous for his brutal exploitation of the Congo Free State in Africa. Under his personal rule, millions of Congolese people were subjected to forced labor, mutilations, and mass executions. The rubber trade was a big part of this nightmare. Leopold wanted to turn it into his personal gold mine, and he did it by literally stripping away everything, including lives. He was a master manipulator. He managed to convince the world that he was doing a humanitarian job in the Congo while secretly raking in wealth from his bloody empire. The worst part. After international outcry, Leopold was forced to give up the Congo, but his reputation was never quite recovered. And good riddance. At number 2, let's talk about the OG of bad kings, the one and only Ivan the Terrible. Ivan IV of Russia. He didn't just earn his nickname. He wore it like a badge of honor. Ivan ruled from 1547 to 1584, and let's just say he was a bit of a drama king. He wasn't satisfied with just being a monarch. Oh no, he had a whole bunch of personal issues to work through, and we were his therapists. At the age of 16, he took power, and within months he started executing people, including his own family members. But the real cherry on the terrifying cake was the Oprichnina, a personal secret police that went around burning villages, killing nobles, and generally creating chaos. And when he had a tantrum and accidentally killed his own son, yeah, that didn't exactly help his PR. Honestly, I'm surprised Russia didn't just put him on an island somewhere and call it a day. And finally, the most infamous of them all, King Henry VIII of England. Now, Henry's not just known for his bad haircuts or his divorced, beheaded, died, divorced, beheaded, survived marital history. This guy was a royal tyrant who took personal offense to, well, pretty much everything. Henry reigned from 1509 to 1547. And let me tell you, if there was ever a king who took being extra to a whole new level, it was Henry. He broke away from the Catholic Church just so he could divorce his wife. I mean, who does that? A king, apparently. And not just once. He did it 6 times. Here's the twist, though. His reign wasn't just about his love life. Henry was incredibly paranoid, and he ruthlessly eliminated anyone who even looked like they were a threat. This included executing his close friends, advisors, and even his own wives. He didn't just kill people, he executed them with a flair that you'd think would be reserved for the world's most dramatic reality TV stars. So there you have it, folks, the 5 most hated kings in history. Some of them were just out of touch with reality, others were downright evil. But one thing's for sure, they didn't win any popularity contests. But hey, at least they made history interesting, right? If you enjoyed this royal ride, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment below on which king you think deserves to be at the top of the most hated list. I'll see you next time, where we'll dive into more ridiculous historical figures. Until then, long live the not-so-terrible monarchs.